Howdy, y'all. On you. Make sure I tell y'all. So, let's make sure we state this correctly. Here's a pipe I've been working on. Hey, there's some black dye on my hands. There's that sand pit that I glued up. So what I did, you can see right here how this one is very off colored. Took it, needle file. I wanted to use extremely fine sawdust, filings, whatever you want to call it. So I took a needle file and I filed until it was full, slightly rounded over, dripped some black dye in on it. Howdy, Todd. Glad to see you in today. So I'll start it over because I haven't really gotten that far. You'll remember this pipe right here, been working on it for a while. Okay, that's that sand pit right there. So what I did was I took a needle file, really small file with really fine grain, and I basically sanded down some sawdust into the hole. I took a lot of it, actually. I thought it would be a lot faster than it was, but no, it took a while for me to fill it up. So once I had it filled up, I dropped some USMC black leather dye on it, which got most of that sawdust to turn black almost immediately. And then I got some Gorilla wood glue, put that over the top, and then I used a different one of these files with a little bit of a point to mix it in real well so that there's glue and dye and wood dust throughout. As soon as I had that all pushed together, smoothed out, now I've got to let it dry for as much as 24 hours before working on it. Now that's working specifically on the spot where it's been glued. I'll be able to work on carving that pipe again tomorrow. Later today I could probably do it, but I'm going to let it sit at least until tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow I'm going to be working on it. See, there's a problem. I want to be working on the pipe, but there's a solution, because there's this evil Canadian guy named Mike, and he was smart enough to send me two. Now, I'm not going to be doing a lot today on this pipe. I've been trying to work on a plan to figure out what I wanted this one to be. And I think I've got it. I think I've got the plan. But one thing I don't know how to do anything with is this shoulder of briar that's been on both of them. But what I am going to do is use a rasp file. It's a combination file. It is flat on one side and rounded on the other. One side is decently fine grain. One side is definitely a rasp to take off large chunks at a time. And I'm going to remove that shoulder because, well, it's going to come off anyways. And what we're going to do is we're just going to now, I'm going to tell you, this would be easier if I would lock it into my sawhorse vise thing that I showed. If anybody was watching my Eric Weaver video where I collect interesting tools, I've got that jaw horse thing. This would be a lot easier if I would lock it into that, because it wouldn't be trying to get away from me. I could just go ahead and push on it and file. But it's been raining today, and I don't tend to pull out good tools unless I absolutely have to. And being that I don't absolutely have to do what I'm doing right now, I'm not going to. I'm just not going to do it. But as you can see, I've already taken quite a bit of that shoulder down from one little section. It doesn't take long, not with the right tools. You definitely want to get a good set of rasps and files if you're going to be going in on pipe making. I've heard this from a lot of people, and now I completely agree with their statement. Now, once you take that shoulder down far enough with the rasp, you want to switch sides. Because you don't want to move your flat. You're just trying to move that right there. And if you keep going with the rasp, eventually you will start digging in on that particular flat that you don't want to mess with. Now, you can if you want. It's just going to be that you're going to have to work on it some more. But I personally don't want to work on it any more than I absolutely have to. Judging by what I've seen so far in the grain of the wood that Mike so lovingly sent me. What I really want to do is just take off enough. I don't need to be greedy. I don't need to get it all at once. And I'm not going to be the world's greatest pipe maker. There's no way I'm going to be the world's greatest pipe maker. I might be the world's craziest pipe maker. And I'm probably going to do some innovative stuff that nobody's going to do. Or maybe it's just stupid stuff that I want to do that nobody else is going to do because it's stupid. I've already decided on a name. Howdy, Boris. Good seeing you today. I am working on the second block of briar because the first one I am letting the sand pit cure. That's basically a little bit of briar dust, a little bit of wood glue, and a little bit of leather dye mixed together, smoothed over into the hole. And I decided to work on pipe number 2, and all I'm doing is taking down this shoulder, which is going to have to be removed anyways. That's my goal for this particular video, so I don't think that I'm going to be on here very long. I am still going to be doing a live tailgate in front of Mike / Briar Blues. That's going to be in just a couple of hours. There's definitely no reason to not do that just because I'm doing a live briar block prep right now. Again, anybody who's watching, yes, this would be a lot easier if I would pull out the vise and use it. But with the rain, I decided to be lazy and not use it because I didn't feel like having to I don't feel like having to oil and all of that. Boris, there is no doubt that sand pit was huge and in just about the worst possible spot I have ever seen a sand pit. And I'm okay with the fact that it's there. It gives me something to learn how to deal with the unexpected. I know that there are some more infamous and better pipe makers that would take that block and pitch it in a fire. But that one is not for sale. Never will be for sale. In fact, I'm probably going to leave instructions in my will to go ahead and burn it with me. That way I can have a smoking hot body one more time. And then later I'm going to have somebody fashion a Viking boat small enough for my little lump of dust that I've become and have them floated out on something where it's caught on fire so I can have a Viking funeral. I'm figuring Boris might appreciate that one. Maybe, maybe not. Oh yeah, it was very deep, and it was as close to the bottom of the bowl as I've ever seen a sand pit. Honestly, It gets... If it was probably an eighth of an inch farther, it would have actually been all the way through into the bowl. And I probably would have cried. Just being honest. But I think it is within my ability to fix. At least I hope it's within my ability to fix. And I hope to see many, many years and many live streams where I am happily smoking my pipe of misfit tools. Oh yeah, Vikings one time had more sailing time than any other society of people anywhere. For those of you who don't know who Leif Erikson is, I'm fairly certain that he actually discovered America well before Christopher Columbus. But he did it on certain normal principles that anybody who's spent time around the seashore should know. If you follow a bird that will not land in the water and has to land on land for it to survive the evening, and if it keeps flying a certain direction, if you follow it, you're going to find land. Leif Erikson probably didn't actually discover America himself, if we got to look at it. He followed from where he was over to Iceland. He found Druids in Iceland. Then he went over to Greenland. But the Druids had said that there was Greenland out there, and there were some forms of records that say that the Vikings knew about Greenland before Leif Erikson. And then, if you get to the Native Americans, you can find some traces of civilizations that date back to 200-300 years before Christopher Columbus that have Viking runes. Leif Erikson would have been maybe 200 or 300 years tops. So if he discovered it, there wouldn't have been a civilization there at the time when he discovered it. But a lot of record keeping wasn't taken very well. And the Indians did report quite well about a race of giant, light-skinned, light-haired people that were very savage and warlike, and so therefore they got along just fine with the Indians. I'm okay with that statement. That goes back to Indians' folklore. Most of their stuff's based in truth because it was passed down word of mouth from elder to elder to elder. When do I start tailgating tonight? That should be 5:30 my time. It is right now 3:30, so let's call it about 2 hours. 2 hours, the tailgate will start. And I'm going to switch it up. Normally, I would smoke a pipe on Mike's live day because Briar Blues, and it's just the way it should be in my mind. Today, I'm planning to smoke a cigar, and tomorrow too, don't worry. Okay. But I'm going to smoke a cigar tonight because that's what I'm feeling. And if Andrew shows up, he asked a question about rehydrating pipe tobacco so I've dug into my notes as far as I can go. I think that there is no doubt anymore that draggers from north. I'm not sure. I'm willing to bet that somehow my specific knowledge and I definitely agree. The reason it becomes Christopher Columbus discovered America, or the Americas, is that he was sent by a queen and record keeping was done. The Vikings that came to America, they didn't care. It was just another spot that they could raid and forage and grow. And they didn't keep records of it. They just said, yeah, I know where that is. Come on, let's go. Oh, you want dark-haired women? Let's go get some Indians. They didn't call them Indians. They probably called them Sioux and Iroquois. And half a dozen other tribe names that were up there in that area. Oh, also, there were animals that somehow made it into Indian mythology that are not native to the Americas, and they are native to like Finland and Norway and Sweden and places like that. And it's kind of hard for me to imagine that the Indians just kind of imagined an animal that's common an ocean away without having either been told about it or shown by someone who showed up with it. And again, there are actual ruins of Viking-like villages in North America that date back to 200 and 300 years previous of Christopher Columbus. Don't get me wrong, Christopher's probably an alright guy. And he proved that it could be done across the open ocean without having to sail around the northern bend. By following the West Indies current. Consequently, that's the same exact current that hurricanes tend to follow so that they could slap the shit out of us Americans. Howdy, Skip. Glad to see you today. Yes, I am still going to be doing a live tailgating in a little under 2 hours. So Skip can see. I put a patch in my first pipe that I've been working on. That is briar dust, Gorilla Wood glue, and leather dye. I chose to dye the wood instead of just using a natural wood glue finish, because it says that the Gorilla Wood glue does not take a dye, even though it will stain, or it will become a natural wood-ish color. I'm going to stain these black and yellow like I've done with all the rest of them. So I wanted, of course, it to be something. And being that it's not going to be sold, that first one anyways, it is just an oddity and it's going to stay with me. Okay, let's be honest. If Jeff Bezos shows up and says I can have ownership of Amazon if I sell him that pipe is sold. But short of a crap ton of money, it's not for sale. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to challenge all of the YTPC right now, right here live on this feed. I challenge you to not smoke tobacco on the 30th and 31st of February. That should be the end of all challenges. Up, Skip's in. Anybody else going to take the challenge? No tobacco on the 30th or 31st of February. Kind of like Lent, just a whole lot easier. Don't worry, Todd, I'm not about to be using that dye as a hair product. It's just not going to happen. Well, surprise, surprise, this stuff is getting harder as it's getting thicker. Not actually a surprise. I feel like this is making pipes the Navy way. Cut to shape, file to fit, paint to match. Go ahead, Skip. Make some sort of comment. You know it's true. doing everything I can to work the hell out of myself on this. But that shoulder is getting a whole lot closer to being out of there. And yes, I could have brought a bigger rasp out. But for doing what I'm doing today, I didn't feel like it. I'm not trying to kill it. I'm not trying to do anything major. I'm just trying to put necessary work in on this particular pipe to make it easier for me to plan and eventually, once I've got a plan, I will start turning this one into my second pipe. If I do it well enough, somebody will probably get it. Probably be my first ever GAW. I'll give away pipe number 01 if I do it well. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There you go, Boris. That's the way to do it. Yeah, I agree with you that cigars in extremely cold weather it's a little bit brutal. The flavors tend to go away on cigars when it's really cold. And if you're going to be smoking a Cuban, which for anybody who sees that comment, y'all should know that he's talking about the Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2 and Scotch, which is Ardbeg or Ardberg. There might be 5 or 6 different ways to say that. Choose the one that's best for you. And you're going to have a Cuban cigar and a Scotch. I'm just going to tell you right now, you can't hardly do much better than a Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2 and a little bit of Scotch. Pick your favorite Scotch because it's going to be one of your favorite cigars. Well, if you believe like I do, a good Cuban doesn't need to cost an arm and a leg. It just needs to be a good Cuban. Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2 does not cost a huge amount of money. And you're still going to get a fine Cuban cigar. If you think it should just cost a ton of money to have a Cuban cigar, go ahead and get yourself the Cohiba Bejique. It's a fantastic cigar. If you feel like you just want to have a Cuban cigar and be able to say, yes, you've had one, and know for a fact that you're probably not getting a forgery, well, there you go. Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2. It is the least forged, knocked off, faked cigar that comes out of Cuba. Because it's not sold at a big premium price. There's not as much money in it. So the guys who would prefer to counterfeit a cigar normally will leave that one alone. Yes, you could still end up with a counterfeit. Don't believe that just because I said it's the least counterfeited, that means it can't be counterfeited. That's just to say, it's almost a waste of their time and they're really not going to make as much money as they would by counterfeiting a Cohiba Bahique or something else. Of course, that's part of the reason why Cohiba Bahiques are hard to counterfeit, because of the band. It's part of the reason why Cohiba Bahique is one of the top high money cigars. Boris, I agree with you. The Bahique, you are going to smoke for about 2 hours or more, depending upon how serious you are about trying to smoke a Bahique. Nobody's going to take one of those out in 27-degree weather. That would be 27-degree Fahrenheit, which is probably like -9 Celsius or something like that. Might only be -4 Celsius. You get down around those single digits, above or below freezing, that is. And really, it's time to put the good sticks away and have a pipe. Be able to enjoy it without losing the flavor just because it's cold. Okay, yeah, sure, that's just my opinion. If you can smoke inside, though, have whatever you damn well want. Because if you're going to go inside and smoke, hey, you know what? That's your choice. I don't smoke in my own house. That's why when I invite people over for cigars, I actually am inviting them over to a nearby cigar lounge. It's more comfortable. Oh yeah, and surprisingly, it's easily an hour long for the Epicure. It's actually a short Robusto. It's not a big stick. You wouldn't think, oh my God, this is going to take forever. But it does not burn fast. Properly made, properly handled, it is just an outstanding cigar at an outstanding price. If I could get them here in the United States without having to pay for some sort of smuggling, I would have a humidor full of Epicure number 2s for roughly about the same price as what I would pay for my normal Friday stick, which is $5 to $10 tops. You can enjoy a damn fine stick without having to spend an arm and a leg. Just like you can enjoy a damn fine pipe full of tobacco without having to spend an arm and a leg. If you want to spend the extra money, I agree with you. You can smoke anything you want to and have just as good of a time as you feel like you can enjoy. But I've always tried to stay under a certain budget, except for when I'm really trying to throw it out there and say, oh my God. You don't see me sitting out here in an Armani trying to make pipes. I'm in t-shirt and shorts. It's also pretty close to 70 degrees. It could be 70 degrees year-round, in my opinion, and that would be perfect. Boris would be calling 70 degrees full-on summer and probably sweating like crazy. I know some people that couldn't even handle that. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, it's hot out here. If it's hot to you, it's hot. Just like when it's cold to me, it's cold. But I don't say much about that because, well, Boris is here. I feel like an idiot when I say, it's cold. And there's Boris going, yeah, it's only 2 degrees above absolute zero. The term absolute zero would be the spot where all matter freezes solid, which is unattainable upon anything ever that has ever been created, but they're still trying. What is it? Helium or hydrogen is still a liquid at 1 degree above absolute zero, which is 1 degree Kelvin. $70 to $80. Oh yeah, $70 to $80 is great. You can work all day without sweating to death. You could enjoy the beach if you were at the beach. At 80 degrees, the women are wearing bikinis. I might not be able to touch, but I can surely the hell look. Hell, my wife says I could probably touch if I could get them to slow down long enough for me to catch up. They take one look at this ugly mug, though, and they're going to run off anyways. But don't worry. There's got to be some woman out there that thinks I'm sexy. Her name's Holly. She's about 100 feet away from me right now. She's at work. Just don't tell her I said that she thinks I'm sexy, because she will tell you that there's no way in hell she has ever said that. To which I will reply, yes, ma'am. I know how to get the last word in an argument with a woman. All right. I am not wanting to go down any farther than that at present. You can see, if you were watching the whole show, there was a big chunk of shoulder there that has now become pretty close to smooth. I will take the time to use a much finer grade file than this and get it down to absolutely smooth. But I obviously don't want to, as I said, I don't want to wear that down to where this facing here is getting roughed up. And I can see marks starting where I've actually touched it a few times with the file. So I'm going to stop that for now. And here in about an hour and a half, I'm going to be back so that we can do a live feed. Live from pretty much right here again. Get any cigar and pipe tobacco questions you might have. I plan on answering as many of them as I can. I might even answer a few of them with, hey, I don't know. As long as y'all aren't too mad at me when I do that. And, yeah. We're going to have a good time. Steph, if you're there, because, well, if Skip's here, normally Steph's there. Todd, Skip, Boris, definitely Boris. Boris kept me chatting through the whole show today. And Charlie, definitely, in case I didn't say that. I will be back in about an hour and a half. I'm going to go get myself something to drink and a nice thick cigar. I'm thinking something from Rocky Patel that I've never had before. That way y'all can see me scribbling down notes as I'm smoking a cigar and chatting. Sometimes a little difficult to do. No, you know what? I'm going to change that thought. I'm going to smoke something I have had before, just so I got better times and the ability to really say, hey, look, let's talk. As per always, if I can't see you again, I guarantee we're going to see some more of this pipe. Guarantee we're going to see some more of this pipe, even though it looks like a big old chunk of tar right now. Getting closer. And we're going to see a whole lot more of me looking like a dumbass as I try to make these pipes that Mike sent me into actual pipes. Anyways, Charlie, I would love to have stayed on, but if I stay on, I will not have any battery power left in my phone by the time it gets around to my actual supposed to be live show. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Y'all take care. Please take care of one another as best you can. Don't forget to vote for me for Prince of Perique. Or if you really, really want to be nice, go ahead, everybody put together a vote to tell Boca that I need to win that pipe from Philip Rivera, and there's a special reason why I should win, and I'm not discussing it here. But Charlie knows. Anyways, I will be on here in about an hour, hour and a half, doing our regular live tailgate. Not with tools and pipes and stuff. Hope to see y'all there. Y'all take care, and as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care. I'll see you soon.